Thanks, Cian Corla. And Minister, I suppose you've talked about the fact that EirGrid has put out the tender to design and testing of the 400 pylons, each carrying 400,000 volts for the North-South Interconnector project, and deadline for submission is October 20th this month. But this moves EirGrid into conflict mode with the people of Meath, Cavan and Monaghan. That's the point you know full well. It confirms that public acceptance is irrelevant to EirGrid's strategies and plans, and it puts EirGrid and the ESB on a clear path of direct conflict and confrontation with the landowners and the communities in the North East. I'm sure Minister Doherty said that to you. She said it often enough. And what the government is saying, and what the tender confirms, is that the feasible and acceptable alternative of undergrounding will never be properly examined by EirGrid. The provocative placing and timing of the tender is a clear confirmation of their determination on this project and its attitude of unaccountability to the democratic process. How is it, just two quick points, Cian Corla, that the tender for 400 pylons includes the 100 pylon towers for Northern Ireland, even though the project is still going through the planning process in the north and awaits a decision? And secondly, how is it that the Fianna Fáil motion in February, supported by the majority of the Dáil and Shannon review, said calls on the government to ensure that no further work is done on the interconnector until this analysis and a full community consultation is completed? Blindly ignored by this Minister. Blindly ignored.
To answer Deputy Cassells in relation to it, the works that are being proposed have a very lengthy lead-in time, and because of that, this procurement process, to actually appoint someone to look at it, and that's what we're looking at here. There's no design phase agreed to whatsoever, and you're correct. This does include the pylons potentially on both sides of the border. As you know, we're still in the planning approval process in Northern Ireland. So you couldn't go ahead with the design phase until we have a decision on that. But what this is about is looking at interested parties that would actually carry out this work. No, this can be withdrawn and will be. There's a cooling off period next June in relation to it. It will allow time between now and then for all of these issues, including the planning application in Northern Ireland, to be decided upon. And yes, it wouldn't make sense to sign any contract to go to the design phase until we had that aspect of it concluded. Absolutely.